This is what we deal with over here. All right? Violent doggo. Hey, what is happening?
So I have two dogs. The first being a male, nearly 6-year-old working line German Shepherd, who I've had since 2019, and we are currently training in PSA. We're in the level 2s currently. And more recently, I got a Dutch Shepherd. It's Malinois Cross. So a really nice Malinois in my PSA club, that dog's currently competing in the 3s, is the mother. And then on the father's side, there's a bunch of KNPV stuff. That's where the Dutch side comes in, the Dutch Shepherd side, as far as I know. The Dutch Shepherd is a female. She's about to be 9 months old. And of course, I've also started her down the path in PSA. So far, the biggest differences that I've noticed. So we'll start with my German Shepherd, just kind of what he's like. He is very high drive. He's very leaky. He's very noisy. It's very external. You can, hear and see that he wants to work. Oftentimes, I can't hear myself over his incessant noises. He's also a very civil dog. There's absolutely a dark side to him. If he takes an unfair correction, he'll come up the leash. It'll be very deliberate. It's not like just like a thoughtless redirect. Like he'll turn around and let you know he's unhappy. I have no doubt in a real scenario he'd be there for me. He loves to work. He's up for anything. It doesn't matter what I go do. I mountain bike. I bike jor with him, right? He sees the bike come out. He screeches and he wants to go. He spins and jumps up and down and just, it's very loud. He wants to be in the center of everything. He's very biddable though. He wants to do what you want to do, and he wants to please. And a lot of people in my club have mentioned that he's a lot like a Malinois in a lot of regards. Like he's very twitchy, he's very fast, he's very athletic and agile, but he thinks a lot more than a Malinois, is what I've been told, right? So he's very thoughtful. I think that's a German Shepherd thing. All right, so now on to my Dutch Shepherd. I got her as a 7-week-old puppy. I brought her home last August, so 2024, August of 2024. So that was like one of the big differences, I think, between my experiences. My German Shepherd, when I got him and I brought him home, he was already over 3.5 months. And she was, the Dutch Shepherd was just like an infant, essentially. So I bring this little baby Dutch Shepherd home. She's in an all new environment. And she was just really confident in the house right away. She was in, like, an example of this is, she was in her little crate in our living room. And this is in like the first couple of days that I have her. And she had a bone in her crate. And one of the big dogs walked past her crate and she just snarled and barked very possessively at them. Like, hey, don't mess with me. This is mine. Like, had no problem communicating that to them. So that was really fun to see. She, the biggest difference is, unlike my German Shepherd, my Dutch Shepherd internalizes everything. I don't know if this is like a breed specific thing, but my specific dog just, she internalizes. So her energy, her excitement, whatever it is, her drive, she doesn't visibly leak or audibly leak. She doesn't screech like my German Shepherd does. She's much quieter. She's not quiet, but she's a much quieter dog, especially in work. And in the beginning, when I was trying to do obedience with her and like start training her, I was a little worried. I couldn't tell if she was enjoying it, just because I was so accustomed to my German Shepherd, who, again, just visibly, audibly, just he spins, he shrieks, he jumps. It's very, very obvious, And my Dutch Shepherd, it took me a little bit to realize, but she does get just as excited to work. It's just she expresses it very differently. She's very silent comparatively, but her teeth, clatter, right? She trembles, like it looks like she's cold. Her tail doesn't always go up, like wagging, but she very, very much loves it. She very much enjoys it. She also just absolutely loves to work, and she works very well. She's also very environmentally confident. Like if I walk her on the street, her tail's up in a semi, kind of just like, I don't want to say dominant, but her tail will be up. She's very aware. She's curious about what's going on around her. She's looking around. She's pretty social at the moment, like being a puppy still. I know like some of her litter mates are pretty aggro and have been aggro also like on their handlers. It hasn't come out in her yet. I'm aware it could though as she gets older. She's also just way, way more handler sensitive than my German Shepherd. I don't know how much of that is like a gender thing, a male versus a female thing, or if it's, because I got her so much younger, like again as an infant, but she's very sensitive to me. An example of this, the first big example of this that I experienced that was like shocking to me was back in November. So it was a few months ago. We're currently at the end of February, and she was probably like 5 months old, if that. And we were in a park, and she was on a flat collar and on a flexi, and she chased down this squirrel, like almost had this squirrel. It was like in between her front legs, like her nose was on this squirrel, and the squirrel got away and ran up a tree. So she treed this squirrel. She's trying to jump up on this tree at this squirrel that's like right there. Her tail's all fluffy, she's in like absolute drive. And she wraps herself around this tree and yanks herself backwards out of her collar. And so like at this point, right, she's totally naked in this park, like no collar, no microchip. She's trying to get a squirrel out of a tree. And in that moment, I'm trying to stay calm. And I, tell her as calm as I can, I'm like, baby dog, sit, which at that time was the only command that she knew. And she actually snapped into a sit. Like she stopped chasing the squirrel and she turned and faced me at the base of this tree and sat down and looked at me like, okay, I'm sitting. And I was like shocked at that. Like I went and put the collar on her, and then we resumed our squirrel chasing. But that's the kind of thing that would have never ever happened with my German Shepherd. Like at that age, without the training. Like now maybe he would, but back then at that age, like he wouldn't have cared if I was yelling at him. That would have been just absolutely impossible.